Hello and welcome everyone to the DJ channel. Thank you very much for coming and thank you very much for staying with me. And do subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. It is totally free, so no expense to you. Just subscribe. It does help me. Honestly, it does help me. If you've got comments to make, always welcome. Love to read your comments, and the like button's there as well, isn't it? But I'm going to talk about a serious subject. Yes, a very serious subject. The influence of Islam in the UK. It's growing rapidly, and it can be seen in politics. Many of the MPs, councillors now are Muslims who are taking over and threatening the Labour Party, the government. Many of their ministers, actual government ministers, are frightened to upset the Muslim majority of their voters in their particular areas they represent. They're prominent now in finance, in fashion, and in food, and the restrictions on freedom of expression are emanating from them. And in many other areas, Islam is bold, it's assertive, and it's openly pushing for greater influence across the nation of UK. There can be no doubt that this poses a challenge to Christianity in the UK. The left's intentional and strategic import of Islamism continues to erode hard-won Christian values. And whether you're a Christian or not, whether you're a heathen, a non-believer, you benefit from the Christian ideals of fairness, of liberty, of freedom of expression, of freedom of speech, and these are now under grave threat of being taken away from us. And it's vital that Westerners wake up to the grim reality of Islamism before it's too late, as the historical pattern of violence and intimidation, sexual abuse, and the silencing of all dissent are now repeating in our own cultures. In our own culture. It is no longer acceptable to dwell in ignorance. This post unpacks the core elements of the toxic spiritual ideology that is plaguing cities and communities across the West. As a call for courage and resistance, it is also helpful to identify how secularism is aiding and abetting religious challenge we now see. I recommend to anyone who cares about truth, life and liberty, and who seeks to speak and act to reclaim Western culture and restore Christian vision and values. The tolerating and welcoming British people have allowed immigration of millions of Muslims into the UK since the Second World War. Unfortunately, they did not ensure that the new arrivals integrate. Years later, we have a situation where the vast majority of all terrorist atrocities are committed by followers of Islam. That cannot be disputed. A significant minority of Muslims are strongly anti-British, and the Muslim constitutes a disproportionate number of criminals in our prisons. And a 2023 report reveals that there were, I'm checking my numbers here, 4,228 instances of abuse carried out by grooming gangs. You know, these sexual grooming gangs, the rape gangs. This is a 2023, so only 2 years ago. 4,228 instances of abuse carried out by the grooming gangs. First things first, what is a grooming gang scandal all about? In 2011, the Times of London published a series of investigative articles on the sexual exploitation of girls by the criminal gangs in England's North and Midlands from 1997 onwards. So this was in 2011, so from 1997 to 2011, 14 years. One detective at the time, Chief Inspector Alan Edwards, told the paper everyone's been too scared to address the ethnicity factor. The cases came to be known as the grooming gang scandal. The report revealed a similar pattern: men choosing girls in fancy sports cars, wooing them as boyfriends, and then sending them on to older men. It alleged that the victims were drugged at the time of being passed on from man to man. One of the survivors, I'm going to name her, Christina O'Connor, recounts how it all happened to her. As a young girl of 13 in Huddersfield, she was at a bus station when she met a group of men, Pakistani men, who started smoking with them, and then met them again that night, and that day it went from a normal childhood to a messed up one. That was her words. She recounts that after spending time with them and partying, remember she's 13, very impressionable girl who's got these older men giving her cigarettes, drink, alcohol. She's, I'm a woman. Yeah, she recounts that after spending time with them and partying, she started getting beaten up, and raped, and passed around and treated like a human toy. She said, I drank and took drugs to block out what was happening in my life. According to the investigative report, there was a secret police document, which claimed there was at least 1,400 children over that decade and a half had been systematically abused by these gangs, the victims as young as 11 years of age, suffering rape and trafficking from area to area, man to man, gang to gang. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer used the generalised term Asian grooming gangs. This has led to an outrage from many, including the British Indians, arguing they have been unfairly smeared for crimes in which they have no involvement. Krishna Ban, chair of the Hindu Council of UK, has been quoted as saying, "We are dismayed that the PM chose to whitewash this heinous atrocity with the word Asian. Our Hindu and Sikh girls were also their victims." Don't hear much of that, but there is a post on my channel, if you look for it, on the Sikh and Indian backlash against the Muslims for attacking their girls, and they have actually took it on that they started helping the white girls in the north and cities of Rochdale and Rotherham and things like that, because they were not being helped by the white police. But that's a story. Look it up. It's there. Echoing similar outrage, Jay Shah, spokesman for the Friends of India Society International, UK, told the Times, India, Asian means Vietnamese, Sri Lankan, Japanese, Indian, etc. Why should we be classed as part of these gangs? They should specify who they are. It's an insult to every Asian otherwise. Actually, it was not meant as an insult, it was a get-out clause. Instead of saying these are gangs of Pakistani Muslims, Starmer said, oh, it's Asians. He spread it over many peoples, many nations, and many religions. He didn't want to say the Muslims because his party are in power right now because of the Muslims. He further noted, this is Jay Shah, when it comes to grooming gangs, we are Asian. When we talk about Kashmir, we're suddenly Indian. Politicians seem to be protecting the perpetrators rather than the victims. If a British person commits a crime in Asia, it isn't reported as European. It makes sense, doesn't it? The network of Sikh organisations, a registered charity in the UK, also slammed Prime Minister Starmer's generalisation, saying the lack of specificity has made it harder to address the problem and worsen the plight of the victims. Sikh Federation UK also voiced its frustration, calling it political correctness. In the debate regarding child sexual exploitation, Sikhs, Hindus and other incorrectly labelled Asian are sick and tired of politicians including Keir Starmer, referring to Asian grooming gangs. So they should be. An independent review commissioned by Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham revealed widespread grooming and exploitation of young girls in Rochdale. We heard about them. You may remember a BBC programme called Three Girls, and it was in three series, or 3 episodes, sorry, and it described just the case of 5 girls being groomed and then raped and passed around and gang raped. If you get to see it, you can get it on the internet if you look for it. It's worth reading, but I warn you, it is harrowing. So, Andy Burnham's did a widespread grooming exploitation of young girls in Rochdale. The review said the authorities failed to adequately investigate these cases between 2004 and 2013. So we've now gone from 1997 to 2013. Of the 9 perpetrators convicted, 8 were identified as British Pakistani men, said the review. That was just the Rochdale one. This week, a further 7 Pakistani Muslims have been convicted of brutal, repeated gang raping of 2 13-year-old white girls. It's enough. Enough is enough. Let's stop this whitewashing. Let's stop this playing down generalisation. Asian, yeah. Muslims, Pakistani Muslims in the majority of cases. We cannot stop it if we don't recognise it. And the problem is the British public, you and I, are not doing anything about it. We hear the story. I'm telling you this story now, but and then you've forgotten it a few days later, and you've done nothing. You've not spoken out. You've not said anything. You've not checked that your daughter's okay, that your neighbour's daughter's okay, your brother's daughter, your uncle's daughter. You're not checking. You're not bothered, and it seems there is no eagerness to stop these gangs from raping, and it's been estimated to hundreds of thousands of white girls and Asian girls. Asian girls, I've said it myself, it gets in your blood, doesn't it? Hindu girls and Sikh girls have been, and I believe there is some Caribbean girls have been systematically raped by these Muslim gangs. It's got to be stopped. We can't stop it until we start speaking up and telling the government, we want an inquiry, we want action, we want the police stop messing about, checking people like myself, having knocks on the door because we've said something on the internet. Stop trolling the internet for what we say and arrest the men that are committing brutal gang rapes. Said it. Probably go knock on the door. I'm willing. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. Speak up. Write to your local MP. Write to your councillors. What's it going to cost you? If it's an email, it's not going to cost you anything at all. Telling them that you'd like to know what they're doing about these rape gangs. That's all you have to do. It's not much. It's not much to ask. So, comments please, like if you do, and don't forget to subscribe. It's not going to cost you anything. So until the next one, I want you to be safe, and I want you to be sure, and I want you to press that subscribe button. So until the next one, I'm going to say goodbye.